Welcome back to CBS Saturday Morning. We move now to the nation's worsening opioid epidemic and the new approaches being taken to fight it. Over 100,000 people have died from drug overdoses in the past 12 months, the vast majority from opiates, including synthetic drugs like fentanyl. One place the problem is especially acute is in Maine.
Street, Oxford Street, CPD on scene for a subject that is overdose, 2 doses of Narcan with no pulse.
On a Tuesday afternoon, police in Portland, Maine respond to an opiate overdose and administer Narcan, what has become the go-to on-site treatment.
How bad is it in Portland right now?
In Portland right now, we are currently 90% above where we were this time last year.
Double
Yes.
where you were just a year ago.
Correct.
Why?
Access.
Heath Gorham is Portland's interim police chief.
When I started 22 years ago, we very rarely saw heroin. We never saw fentanyl. It was all crack. And over the years, pills became very prevalent, and then we saw the resurgence of the opioids, the street drugs like heroin, and then in the last couple of years, we've seen fentanyl move in.
Fentanyl is not new.
Show me 1061 on that, please.
But on the streets, it has reached new levels for many departments already overwhelmed.
So you have a warrant. You have 4 warrants for your arrest.
Just 4 misdemeanor warrants, but they're not a big deal.
Just clear them out.
Jesse Dana used to work in corporate and retail sales for a clothing company. He's been a cop for 10 years.
Do you have anything on you that's going to get you jammed up at county? Because that is a felony if you've got any drugs on you, dude.
A cop who, like many others, is now expected to play multiple roles.
All right, buddy. Well, if you need something throughout the day, let me know. Just stay in the shade and kind of chill out, all right?
Are you their friend? Are you the police officer? What are you?
Ultimately my job is to be a police officer and to enforce the law. But, everybody down here, is a person just like, the people that I've worked with in my previous career, right? So you have to treat everybody with respect. Okay, have you checked in with your doctor?
Most of the folks that are dealing with being unhoused are also dealing with a substance use disorder and behavioral health disorders. So those co-occurring disorders and a lack of treatment beds, a lack of inpatient treatment is leaving them out there on the street, and fentanyl is so incredibly easy to get.
What help do you need from the federal government?
We need facilities for inpatient treatment.
Inpatient treatments for drug addiction lacking on the outside are now being pioneered on the inside. We went into the Maine State Prison, a maximum security facility for those who've done the worst of the worst, often under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Like Earl Buddy Beeler, who's serving a sentence for murdering one person and nearly another in 2009. At first, even losing his freedom wasn't enough to make him change his ways.
You were using for a long time when you came to prison.
Yeah, pretty much the whole time.
The whole time? Until when?
So I got some drugs that I ingested that came out of someone's mouth, and it almost killed me, put me in sepsis, had to go out on an ambulance.
You injected someone's saliva?
Well, the Suboxone strip came out of their mouth, so it had some of their saliva on it, yes.
That's how desperate you were for it?
Yeah.
After recovering from a near-fatal infection, Beeler eventually got into a new prison treatment program, under which he's given Suboxone, a drug that treats dependence on narcotics. 42% of people incarcerated here are now being treated with Suboxone, a strategy embraced by the commissioner of Maine State Prisons.
If we recognize that addiction is a disease, we should treat it that way.
Randy Liberty grew up surrounded by a life of crime. One of his first jobs when he entered law enforcement was to guard his own father.
Unfortunately, dysfunctionally, it was comfortable. I go into Charlie Block upstairs in the jail. Morning, Dad. Morning, Randy. And it's some of the best time I ever spent with him.
Liberty has one main mission here: to normalize corrections.
Let me take a look at it, okay? Thank you. Nice to meet you. Any of the states can adopt what we're doing here, and it really just means reducing the stigma of being incarcerated, stopping the shame.
Part of that means making a prison not look like one.
We're aggressive with our agriculture. Not only
It smells nice.
For example, the abundant gardens and even pickling classes.
I think we did maybe 3,000 tomato plants and pepper plants this year. And not only does it help them therapeutically to raise that and feel good about that, but it also gives them an opportunity to enhance nutrition. Our job is to help the residents identify what brought them here and then get to work treating those particular situations.
A couple of years ago, you stopped referring to the people here, the men here, as prisoners or inmates. You call them residents.
That's right. We believe language matters, and we believe that dignity and respect is deserved by all, and so that's why we call the individuals that are incarcerated here residents.
Even murderers.
Even murderers. We believe in redemption.
Maine State Prison says their treatment program has reduced overdose deaths in residents after their release by 60%.
Thank you.
When the taxpayers of the state of Maine spend $46,000 a year to house a resident here, I think they demand that we get results.
It's a crazy number. $46,000.
$46,000 a year. And the ones that are here need to be here. That's how we provide public safety. They need to reset, they need to pause and reflect and understand what brought them to corrections, and then we need to get to work to assist them in transitioning back into the community.
Anybody in the tent? It's Portland PD.
A community that doesn't have to look far to see the evidence of America's ongoing struggle with addiction.
I could say that you could probably have somebody spend their entire day walking around just picking up needles, and they could probably fill about 4 to 5 hours of their day.
And the work that still needs to be done to make help available without having to go to prison to get it.
We're all part of the community that's around here. So whether you're unhoused, whether you live in a home, like these folks do here, whether you have a business or whether you're a tourist, you all have to kind of do your part.
What do you think the solution is for this, or is this just maintenance right now?
Right now we're in a maintenance phase. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that there's not enough full treatment centers for people that really need help.
And it's the cycle, as Randy Liberty says, the people who are here in prison need to be in prison, but if they don't get fixed or get problems addressed while in prison, they go back out.
They just come right back.
Create more problems for everyone else and end up right back in prison.
I thought it was interesting because he said it is the redemption. You have to solve the problems there, or it is, to your point, a cycle that just repeats itself. And it is very costly to taxpayers.
$46,000.
Right.
That's a college education.
Yep.
Think about it.
Every year.
Good piece, Jeff.